of our a compass. I'm not sure if you know what a compass is. I'm sure they were a lot different when you were younger or when you were with us. But we have a
Look at it
compass
move.
here.
Look at it go.
Again, a little different, but you're making it move. Good girl. We appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Oh, this is great. Thanks.
Mrs. Fletcher, thank you very much. It's moving. Mike, can you get some photos? I don't know if you can photograph that maybe. Mrs.
I don't want to
Fletcher, we
move. I'm
really
just standing.
appreciate you getting this compass to move for us. Man, I tell you, we definitely appreciate that. Can you, if you're here standing beside me, or are you standing beside the ladies?
If you're standing beside us, can you make that needle move again, please?
Mrs. Fletcher, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's nice that you've come to visit us. Maybe you're just dropping in to say hello, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine with us. You know, we
There it goes.
appreciate it. Have you spent a lot of time here when you were in Alliston? Did you come to the museum frequently?
It's moving again.
It's moving again.
John, are you here? Mr. Fletcher? Mr. John Fletcher, are you here with us tonight? Can you please come and speak with us if you're here? Can you please go stand beside the ladies and make their little meter, the compass move? Can you please do
There it
that
goes
for
again.
me? I really appreciate that. I know you're a very intelligent man, and I bet you can make that thing, you could work it. You can make it spin. I know you have the ability. Can you please do that for us? Please, John?
Yeah, it's moving.
Yeah, thanks, John. It's moving.
John, thank you very much. If that's you here with us, John, Mr. Fletcher, Mrs. Fletcher, I'm glad that you're here together as a couple, coming to visit us here. Very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah.
That is excellent.
Excellent. Wow.
That
That's
is
awesome.
really cool.
That is so cool.
Excellent.
It seems
John,
to-
thank you very much, John.
Wow.
It actually seems to be more responsive when you actually call them Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher.
Together, yeah.
Well, back in their day, that was being very respectful. Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher, we really
There
appreciate
it goes
that.
again.
That's good work. That's awesome. That's great work.
Wow.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
That must take a lot of energy to do that. Look at it go.
Wow!
Whoa! Holy Dinah. Holy Dinah. Look at this. You guys are happy to see us.
John, are you here, John?
I think they like Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher better.
I think they
Definitely
do.
respond to
Mr.
yeah.
Fletcher,
Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher.
are you here with us? Can you make this little needle move for me? Can you come stand beside us? Please, we really appreciate that if you come on over here. Come and stand beside us.
Here we are. That's amazing.
Mr. Banting?
If you actually stay over there, we get more movement.
Well, that's, not everybody likes me.
Sorry.
Mr. Banting, are you here with us? Mr. Frederick Banting. Can you hear my voice, Frederick? Mr. Frederick?
Movement.
Excellent. Excellent. Mr. Banting, is that you moving the meter for the ladies? Are you standing beside the two ladies over here?
There's a man here too.
There's a guy here too.
And this young man, are you standing beside these three people? I definitely appreciate that if you are. They're definitely welcoming you over there.
Wow.
It's still moving?
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher, are you still here as well? Or have you gone for tea? Yeah, you're certainly welcome to stay with us, Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher.
Oh, they're here.
They're still here.
They're still here.
Have you gone for tea? Are you still here?
No, they're here. Yep.
They're here.
Excellent.
Oh, they're really here.
Excellent. I would make you some tea, but be honest, I don't know.
That is pretty wicked.
That is
Wow.
awesome.
Holy crap.
Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher,
It's gone from north to completely
completely west, completely,
Awesome. And back again?
and back again. Oh,
Excellent.
many times.
Is there anybody else upstairs here?
Look
with
at
us
that,
like
that's
to speak to me?
freaky.
They like Mr. and
Got
Mrs.
the
Fletcher.
opportunity to visit with Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher, Mr. Banting, I believe he may have stopped by. Is there anybody else here? Anybody else here that I apologize if I don't know your name? I apologize if I've never met you, but I definitely really appreciate you coming to visit us.
There's some pretty substantial movement still, so.
If there's anybody that wants to come up and speak with us, you're more than welcome to come on up. Come on up and speak with us and, give us a message. Definitely appreciate that. It's a beautiful night outside, a little chilly, but very nice out. Does it stop moving now? Like when I stop talking, does it?
It's moving again.
Is it?
Quite dramatically, actually. It's almost kind of northwest.
Is there anything you'd like to tell us?
This is, my fingers are going numb, but I don't want to move. Are you still here, Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher?
I think it's going north and then west, right?
Drastically. Here, take the flashlight and let me see if I move away. Can you do that?
I just don't want to move.
There it goes.
Here, let's try a little bit of a different spot.
Do you want me to move?
Over here. Something we're using, is it a piece of equipment? Let's make sure it's not a piece of equipment that we're using that's manipulating it. No, it seems to be okay.
Wow, how could it be that different? Look at that.
If there's somebody up here with us right now, can you please tell me your name? Can you please move the needle for us? See the little white and red needle, can you please move that?
If Mr. Fletcher is here, could you move the needle? If Mrs. Fletcher is here, could you move the needle?
Let's be a little more specific. Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher, I really appreciate all that you've done so far. We definitely appreciate that. Can you move the needle over towards the W? You see the little pointed area? Can you please move that towards the W for us? Definitely would really appreciate if you can do that for us. Or, if Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher have left, if there's anybody else here with us right now that can possibly move that needle over to the W. We'd really appreciate that. Thank you very much for your time. If you can please do that for us. Has everybody left? Is Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher, have you left? Have you gone for tea? All those noises are coming from downstairs. Mr. Banting, are you here with us, Mr. Banting? Are you here with us right now? Are you upstairs? On the upper level with us? If you are, can you please move the needle towards the W? If you're here with us right now, can you please do that for us? Oh, maybe he's left as
I
well.
think they must have left.
Maybe I need to go back over here. Maybe I need to get away from the thing.
Can you hold that cup for me?